committee favored another candidate. And just in time for the holidays, tonight's Mega Millions drawing will be worth at least $740 million. It's the largest Mega Millions jackpot that's ever been up for grabs in the month of December. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
Still got a closure in the Irwindale area, 605 northbound. The connect.
Everybody hit that like button.
Slow all the way back from Azusa, lower Azusa Road.
Hit
and
that
Malibu
like button.
On the northbound side between Topanga Canyon and Big Rock Drive. The right lane is taken away and traffic is jammed back from Temescal Canyon. Some good news from South LA. That stall on the 110 freeway southbound before Exposition. It has
yo.
Traffic's recovering.
Looking for a Lenovo gaming computer this holiday? Go straight to the source, Lenovo.com, and get the best prices on the Lenovo you want, like the Legion Pro 5 gaming laptop.
Deal. What up, y'all? Everybody come in and hit that like button.
The station leading the way with exclusive interviews, stimulating conversation, and intellectual discourse that empowers.
Wagwan.
Follow the leader at KBLA 1580. We got a lot to talk about. Keep following the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
Hey, so I'm calling your show, 'cause I need to know. Show me which way to go before I throw my man out the door.
Okay, hold on a second, Keisha. Just let me ask Ronald exactly what's going on, because it takes two to tango, and I need to hit his side of the story. So she's driving me insane, got stress heavy on my brain. She keeps playing silly games, and I'm about to bring the pain.
Hit the like button, please.
Every day and every night. Please go somewhere nice, so we can see the light. See the light.
Dana. Trey Hard, what up, Dina? What up, Drake? Fred.
Here are 5 ways that people can be passive aggressive. Number 1, they'll agree to do things and then they just don't do them, or they do them in a half-assed way. Number 2, they'll say something super mean and then they'll go, oops, that was just a joke. Can't you take a joke? Oh my God, you're so sensitive. Number 3, they just don't remember details on purpose, but they act like they forgot. Oh, I forgot to get your coffee. I'm so sorry. Number 4, they bring up the past to deflect talking about the current issues so that they don't have to talk about it. It's deflection. And number 5, they act like they're not angry when they actually are.
Are you dealing with passive-aggressive people in your life and in your relationships? Tonight, we're going to talk about it, especially within intimate relationships. Tonight's topic, it's a doozy. Attila is really acting up with some of these topics. With all of her topics, really. She be knocking them out the park, and I love it. I love it. She sent this topic to me, faux negotiables. Faux negotiables? The not so subtle art of stalling a loss. The illusion of compromise, how faux negotiables keep us stuck in toxic relationships. We're going to try to explore the dangerous dynamics of faux negotiables and how they create an illusion of cooperation while stalling true emotional intimacy. We're going to investigate the psychological mechanisms that lead individuals to uphold these artificial barriers, including projections of insecurity and fear of vulnerability. Are we right or are we relational? This is ugly. Are we right or are we relational? The paradox of being right in negotiation dynamics within intimate relationships. We're going to try to examine the connection between the need to be right and the underlying emotional wounds, such as fear of abandonment and unhealed traumas. We're going to try to analyze how this need can distort negotiations and lead to one-sided compromises. A one-sided compromise. Goodness gracious. One-sided compromises ultimately hindering authentic connection and growth. Do you suffer with a need to be right when you're trying to negotiate what a win-win? Because aren't relationships supposed to be win-win? You give a little, I give a little, right? What's an apology without forgiveness? Oh, oops, 1-800-920-1580. Passive aggression, the silent killer of compromise in intimate relationships. We're going to try to investigate the role of passive-aggressive behavior in stalling negotiations and eroding trust within relationships. We're going to discuss how the behavior, or this behavior, serves as a defense mechanism rooted in fear and vulnerability, the fear of being vulnerable, which prevents genuine discussions as well as emotional growth. The hidden cost of non-negotiables. Are they shields or shackles? We're going to delve into the implications of maintaining a long list of non-negotiables in relationships. We're going to analyze whether these stances serve as protective barriers against vulnerability or as self-imposed limitations that stifle authentic connection. This is deep. Projection in negotiations. What are we really trying to protect? Ugh. When seeking to find common ground with someone, it's important that vulnerability, honesty, and trust be established. Consequently, the need for compromise is paramount to the relationship's survival during difficult times. What are some ramifications for negotiating with someone who seems willing and ready to work together? However, no compromises are ever reached. Is there a correlation between volatility of emotions, either yours or theirs, and the compromise going their way the majority of the time? Common tactics that we use to emotionally wear you down include the word salad. Oh, faux negotiables. I'm going to act like I'm going to negotiate with you, but I'm really not going to negotiate with you because you know what? I really just want my way. I want to be right. I'm not really trying to give you what you want. I'm not trying to participate in a win-win. I'm looking for wins and losses. You take the losses, I take the wins. Everything is good in my life. Are you with that type of person that will engage in faux negotiations with you? Gosh, they're going to word salad you to death. A string of empty, incoherent, unintelligible, or nonsensical words or comments. Well, what had happened was, what's your name them had came in and distracted me because I was trying to fix the TV. Because remember, I got that old TV from my father, you know, the kind with the big back. Yeah, you know, I had to order some tubes off internet because you know those TVs use tubes. You see, and that's a. What has that got to do with the serious conversation we're supposed to be having right now? That's the word salad. And then you get hit with passive aggressive behaviors. When a person takes an indirect approach to express their anger and negativity rather than communicating their annoyance directly, they express it via inaction, moodiness, or lack of cooperation. LeBron James. Oops. I didn't. Or then there's projection, the process of displacing one's feelings onto a different person, animal, or object. The term is most commonly used to describe defensive projection, attributing one's own unacceptable urges onto another. The ultimate goal of these tactics is to get you to lose your emotional grounding and make illogical decisions driven by ego or fear, rather than a sound judgment that focuses on what is best for all parties involved. Remember, negotiations and intimate relationships are ultimately about win-win. They're never really about win losses. Because even if you don't get what you want and you cooperating and helping your partner get what they want, that's still a win for you. It's win adjacent. And there are going to be moments where your partner wins and then you're win adjacent, or you win and then she's win adjacent if she's a woman, right? And I think that's how relationships are supposed to go. We're not going to always win at the same time, but we should always be, if my partner wins, I'm the cheerleader, I'm the yell leader, I'm the supporter. I'm like, yeah, that's your win. So win adjacent is cool. Not for some people. When we come forward, we're going to bring in some callers to talk about faux negotiation. You're going to play like you can negotiate or you're willing to negotiate. But you have some non-negotiables that you might not want to articulate. When we come forward, we're going to get deep. Let's get it. What up? Everybody hit that like button. It's not too much to ask. I'm sorry. It's not too much to ask. You come in, you hear something, you like it, because I know you like it. I know you like it. Oh, I know you like it. Come on, hit the like button. The like is free. Oh, Knucklehead TV wants to get deleted. Okay. That's how you do it. Everybody hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. Hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. It's free. Speed runner. Sounds like you want to get ghost too, huh? Listen, all I'm saying is, man, like, we don't like stupid comments. How about that? Can we be intelligent for a moment? There's enough chicanery on YouTube to choose from. It's enough of it. Go choose chicanery. But if you come in here, I'd like you to think for at least a moment. Would you go back on Corey's show? He said he wanted you back a couple of episodes ago. Corey's the homie. Ain't nothing but love. But if you notice, Lily, where am I at right now on a Tuesday night at 7:15 p.m.? I'm at work in downtown Los Angeles. So again, I've addressed this a couple of times. Scheduling is crazy, right? Dopest TV, nothing but love, man. That's Dina Love in the house right there. Thank you, bruh. Dre Harv. Thank you. So love the show, man. And like I said, you know, maybe one day, time permits, possibly. But, you know, radio every day is a grind, bro. Every day? Hella grind. I hope I answered your question adequately, good brother. It's 7:16 on the West Coast. Nah, much respect, Lily. Much respect. Tommy Hooks, what up from the town? Uh, 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 uh.
What does it mean to project, and how do you stop doing it? Projection is a psychological defense mechanism where you have feelings and emotions that are unacceptable to you, and instead of owning it, you attribute it to someone else. So the answer to the question of how do I stop projecting is you have to work through your own negative self-talk. If you have a strong self-concept, someone's insults are hurtful, but you don't own them. They just become external attacks that you fend off. It's only when those insults penetrate your soul and become part of your thinking that you start projecting. Projecting is about what's going on in your head, not about what people say to you. And depending on how much negative self-talk you have, you may need a therapist to help you identify and process away some of these thoughts. Once you reach a higher place of self-acceptance, you won't have the need to project, and other people's comments just become noise.
Man, Dr. Tracy. Andy be in there listening to Dr. Tracy like, that's good right there. I'm going to tell you right now, that's good. Dr. Tracy, that's good. Man, Andy, don't be afraid to hit her with them dang on keys. Yeah. Dr. Tracy, man, she be on point. And you know you've been with somebody that's projecting, deflecting, you know. Every conversation you have in an intimate relationship, right, for the most part, is negotiation, right? You're trying to present your perspective, right? Sometimes you have to adjust your perspective and use different languaging to get your partner to understand where you're coming from. Almost all conversations are a form of negotiation. But in relationship, in particular, intimate relationship, these negotiations are about win-win. They must be about win-win if the relationship is to remain healthy. If it's about, I just want to be right, I just want to get my point across, I just want to be heard, and being heard is fine. I'm not here to diminish being heard because that's very important too. But you can't just hog up all the sounds with being heard. You understand what I mean? Like, some people just want to be heard and they don't want any other voice to be heard. They just want to be heard. And it's a win-win. If I'm listening to you, you have to allot time for me to be heard. If I'm observing you because you want to be seen, you have to allot time for me to be seen. I mean, relationships are about mutuality. How might Early childhood experiences shape an individual's capacity to engage in healthy compromise within relationship. In what ways do attachment styles influence one's approach to negotiation, especially regarding perceived non-negotiables? Sheesh. How can the language of faux negotiables reflect deeper psychological defenses against vulnerability? 1-800-920-1580. Get to your phone lines. Get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. What role does passive aggression play in stalling true emotional intimacy within relationships? How does one recognize patterns of projection in their interactions? And what underlying fears might those patterns reveal? In what ways can self-awareness and emotional intelligence mitigate the impact of narcissistic traits in relationships? How might the concept of non-negotiables or faux negotiables serve as a mask for unresolved trauma or insecurity? I'm asking real questions. Maybe you've never been asked these questions. Maybe you've never heard these questions before, but these are the type of questions we should have when building something as opposed to the kind of questions we ask. I think that's a whole nother show. Let me go deeper. What connections exist between a person's need to be right and their fear of abandonment in intimate relationships? Such a heavy question. What connections exist between a person's need to be right and their fear of abandonment in intimate relationships? Are there any connections? 1-800-920-1580. How can individuals cultivate a sense of worthiness that transcends the pursuit of external validation in negotiations? When partners engage in a word salad, what defensive mechanisms can drive this communication style? I don't want to be exposed, so I'll word salad you. And maybe it could be articulate enough for you to think I'm actually saying something. 1-800-920-1580. We talking about faux negotiations. You know, you don't even really want to have these negotiations. So you're going to obfuscate these negotiations or these points that you really don't want to talk about. And you're going to make it seem like you're engaging. This is deep. I've got some callers on the line, and I think they want to share. Are we ready to get this thing going? Let's go. Attila from Houston, Texas. Since this is your topic, you might as well be first to explain it.
Oh, they put me on the spot.
Let's go.
What's going on, Unc?
I'm alive and well. Let's get it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, as far as explaining it, I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory, but I will say if you're someone who's a little bit more direct in your communication, it might not necessarily ring true for you. But if you're someone who's maybe more anxiously attached or just dealing with people pleasing, then to me this is right up your alley, okay? I say that because I still deal with I guess you could say remnants of this particular situation. And so essentially what this really is a manipulation tactic to get you to a place where you are back to normal, so to speak. So I think when we enter into conflict or negotiations with someone, emotions are heightened, right? A lot of anxiety there. And so in order to kind of bring that down, you try to manipulate the person in order to make things seem normal for you. And so, for example, when we talk about the word salad and the passive aggression, I see those two things being used interchangeably a lot of times, simply because of just people being uncomfortable in general. I find that, like, even the most confident person is put into a situation where they feel pressed, might kind of start using some of these tactics, if you will.
Really?
The projection, yeah. I mean, I was about to say we've seen it on the show, but I'm gonna leave that there. But the word salad thing, I mean, like, that's just part of just not you might have a clear, concise thought, but it's not coming out correctly. And I think part of that is due to, like I said, hidden emotion mixed with anxiety. But it could also be because there's a truth that you have yet to really accept within yourself. And so it just kind of comes out like in knots. The passive aggression, though, and the projection, to me, those can be a little bit more sinister, simply because they go undetected. And if a person has a good enough standing or a good enough, like, what do you call it, like their reputation, so to speak, has a certain je ne sais quoi, if you will. They're able to hide behind that. They're able to hide behind that, period. Like, they're going to, because people, a lot of times, depending on where their level of consciousness is, they might only perceive the image that's in front of them and not the things behind it. They're not going to ask the follow-up questions that would lead to the passive aggression that would make you go, huh, you know, I don't think they really wanted to say yes, or I don't think they really want to do this. Right? Like, you won't even get there with the person because, you know, they're able to kind of hide it based on whatever their standing is.
Interesting.
One thing I did not include, lastly, real quick, was the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde phenomenon, because that one tends to be a little bit more serious. That's usually involving, like, splitting and schizophrenia and, like, what do you call it? Not, they used to call it multiple personality disorder, but now it's called, dissociated identity disorder, something like that. So, like, even though that is, like, a lot more serious, it's similar in the sense that people tend to jump from extreme to extremes, just due to, like I said, again, there's that need to manipulate and to essentially get something. Like, your whole point in this is to remain on top, and if that means untouched emotionally, then that's what you're going to do. If that means not being bested because someone's essentially telling you wrong and you're realizing that they are correct, you're wrong, you're going to do it. Like, so I think it happens unconsciously.
So, no, this is deep. Faux negotiables, right? This is deep. Are you saying that people who people please could use faux negotiations to kind of like, okay, I got to sit down and have this conversation with this person. They want to have the conversation. I don't really want to have the conversation, but I'm going to play like I'm going to get into these negotiations. And could it be like an extension of people pleasing? I'm just here to let you know that I don't want to lose you, so I'm a faux negotiate with you. I'm not going to really give up anything, but I'm going to participate in a superficial way. Thus, the word salad. Can that be framed that way?
I would say yes. I think it's a form of survival more so than anything, though. Whether that's the survival of the relationship or the survival of that person's ego. I think that, like, somebody who maybe is a little bit more anxiously seek to save the relationship, but ultimately the ego is the big kahuna, right? Like, that's the thing that you want to keep covered, because if the ego is exposed, that's where the work can begin. But the ego doesn't want that, right? Like, it wants to maintain the idea that I am right, all is well, and this person is just, you know, it's them. They are the problem. It's an external threat to me. So if I'm going to keep that perception up, the only way I can do that is through manipulation. Like, there really is no other way around that, because other than that, you'd have to actually be authentic and address the problem. But I think people pleasers want to keep the relationship, and they don't want to address the issues.
Wow. Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Hold it. Pretty Brown Mimi says, so faux negotiables is basically gaslighting. Listen, when we come forward, we going back to Houston, Texas, because Attila is in here cooking with a hibachi grill. H-Town hibachi. My whole playlist is from 1983, by the way. The whole playlist. All these new terms. This is a term Attila created. I'm sure there's a Chinatown spot somewhere like that. What's up, bro?
No, I was thinking,
What?
listening. Sometimes I feel like relationships can be very complicated.
Mhm.
Like I respect the depth in which we go into,
Mm-hmm.
but like sometimes when you kind of going through it, like just you ain't trying to. You in the midst of it, you're not trying to be all deep and thinking like, oh yeah, man, she's
Yeah.
one of the whatever you be calling it. You feel me?
Yeah.
And it's like, could it be sometimes like you could be so conscious about a situation that could also be a detriment? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think some successful relationships are successful because they're not deep.
Damn. Okay.
And as long as, but see, the problem with those, if there's a substantive change
Okay.
in what everybody is signed up for,
Fair enough.
then the relationship falls apart, falls to pieces. So this is why the depth matters. Because number one, it matters in how you evaluate a person.
Okay.
Unfortunately, you got to trip, slip, bump, and bust your head 12 times to get that information to be able to evaluate people.
A la Travis Hunter, huh?
Yeah, by that time you beat up, right?
Right.
So there's people that are wiser than Travis Hunter. Let me tell you what's happening with the Travis Hunter situation. The enhancement bias. When you're in a relationship with somebody, you marginalize what's wrong with them and you aggrandize what's good. But all the people around you can see what's wrong with the motherfucker. They see the motherfucker you like better than you do in the early stages of the relationship.
Okay.
Right? Because they haven't revealed the totality of who they are. But wiser people around you, like your parents, siblings, and in his case, all of the nation,
The whole world.
they like, this motherfucker crazy.
Right.
But he can't see it because he like this.
Yeah.
That's the enhancement bias.
Damn.
Or they call it the honeymoon period, 18-month period where, you're still trying to get to know and figure and. But yeah, the enhancement bias.
Okay. Respect.
Because when you get deep with somebody, you're going to need to get deep.
Because I feel like sometimes that deepness can also scare a motherfucker too.
Yes. Well, scares them away.
Yeah, scares them away.
Yes. That and that's good if they get scared away.
For the person that's scared.
No. For the person that is trying to talk to them and they get scared away.
Yeah.
That's good they ran away. Because this goes back to what Big Mama and them was talking about. And not only just Big Mama, but clinicians and all them folk, they'll tell you the truth. Listen, if a motherfucker can't go through hell with you, go in one side of hell and come out the other side of hell,
right,
then what is the fucking relationship worth? If you only good with me when it's good.
Yeah. But I also don't want you to run away when things are bad too, though, because I think people
that's
have
good.
a tendency for that though too.
But that's good.
Because can we work through the bad instead of you running away from the bad?
What you're describing is willingness. You said, can we work through it? That means you're willing to work through it.
Yes.
They got on track shoes. That means they're not willing, which is good for you.
Can I have patience for that individual though? Because they ran away. Maybe they're not trying to run away from the relationship, but they are running away from the deep conversation we're supposed to have.
To answer your question, can you have patience? Yes. But don't expect your patience to pay off. You have to be indifferent about your patience.
Woo!
If it pays off, cool.
Yeah.
If it doesn't pay off, okay, cool.
That's real. Real spiel.
I'm out here, man. Hey, what up, birthday girl? Hey, Dream Luxury is in the building right now. Everybody say happy birthday to Dream Luxury. Hey, luxurious. Hey, honey brown eyes. If y'all want to gift Dream Luxury a birthday gift, you guys can do that. You guys can send it to my Cash App and I'll send it to her. Big honey brown eyes. Uh-oh. Big honey brown eyes. The eyes eat down. Uh-oh, she in here wilding now. The eyes eat down. Is that what it is? Happy birthday, baby. Boot. That's comedy.
You need to know where to draw a line in the sand that says if you cross this line, we're done. It's got to be a line that's related to character. So if you keep lying to me, we're done. If you don't start growing up and accepting responsibility for things around here, we're done. If you don't learn to deal with your anger and quit lashing out the way you do, we're done. If you don't stop all your jealousy and manipulation and control, we're done. So those are the kind of things you have to decide what is worth ending a relationship for. What is a non-negotiable deal breaker? That you need to be clear in your mind.
And then you got faux negotiators who are going to act like they want to have the real conversation, but when the real conversation comes up, they don't want to deal with the questions. They feel like, oh, I'm being scrutinized. I'm being torn down. I feel triggered. I feel attacked. I feel what's happening? You you can't be in a relationship with somebody like Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson do an interview, you got a time limit. There's certain questions you can and can't ask. Like, if you're in an intimate relationship, we've got to have the real deal conversations, not the faux negotiations. We just, come on. But the reason why that is because most people have some kind of insecure attachment style. They have some kind of dysfunctional communication style, some type of dysfunctional modeling from childhood. And you know what happens? Real conversations put relationships in real jeopardy because real conversations are about exposing. And if you're dealing with somebody since childhood that's never felt safe, how can a real conversation make them feel safe? So you say, oh, let's create a safe space for you to talk. Well, talking is not safe. Now, talking about SpongeBob and Family Guy, Brian, the dog, one of my favorite characters. Did you see the episode when Stewie beat Brian up because Brian owed him money? They'll go ad infinitum. You know the Incredible Hulk? Let me tell you something about the Incredible Hulk. Ed Norton's Hulk was closest to what Stan Lee originally envisioned for the Hulk. Huh? So you can get scientific on Marvel characters. But when it's time to talk about what's wrong with us, what's wrong with you, what's wrong with our communication, how are you raised, what did you go through, the things you're dealing with? No. Okay, I don't want to lose this person. Let's engage in faux negotiations. You know one of your deal breakers is having a real conversation, but you will offer a faux negotiation in order to assuage your partner's desire for one. The concept of faux negotiables, or seemingly steadfast positions that obscure genuine compromise, epitomize the passive aggressive tactics some individuals employ to maintain a facade of cooperation while subtly undermining authentic dialogue. That's what we're talking about with faux negotiations. Now, you tell me if you've experienced that or not in your intimate relationships. The number to dial, 1-800-920-1580. Get at me. Attila, you got to come in here and finish because you was already cooking.
Yes, sir. Okay, so something that's occurred to me too in listening to this. I really feel like ultimately this comes down to the fear of abandonment, because a lot of people don't know how to extend relationship beyond conflict. So every conflict is like the end, you know? Like, and so I made a really good comment in the chat. She was saying, like, well, then don't be in a relationship. Like, you know, and I wish it were that simple, but I also feel like that relationship is our platform to actually reveal, heal, and, like, you know, basically get down to that nitty gritty. Because without that, how else would it be revealed? If I'm just by myself, or if I'm just in these kind of fleeting relationships, then it'll never be revealed. Now, granted, it's still up to me to actually do that work, but I think having that opportunity to do that will come in the form of relationship. I don't know. What do you say?
Of course, relationship is a mirror. Listen, I'm tired of the contradictions. I'm gonna ramble for a second. I'm tired of the contradictions. A relationship is a mirror. You get who you are. You got to do your shadow work. Everybody can quote Jung. Everybody can quote Krishnamurti. But when you start digging deep into it, shadow, the dang word means mirror. Mirror means shadow, right? The word mirror means shadow. But you say every relationship is a mirror. Okay. Well, do your shadow work and you'll see why you get mirror reflections of yourself in your intimate relationships, right? You'll see why you attract those kinds of people, because they're mirroring what you're suppressing and repressing. Does that make sense?
Yes, and absolutely. I would say also don't just watch the shows and read the books, right? Like, your relationship is going to present you with that opportunity to actually do the work, and it's going to be extremely uncomfortable, but it has to be done. I mean, and it's funny because we spend so much time on everything else, our education, our work. You know, like, for me, I'm always looking, okay, what certifications can I get? Like, in what ways can help me climb this ladder, you know, at work or whatever. And I think we try to relationally climb the ladder, and it doesn't work like that.
Right.
There is no corporate relationship ladder hopping, whatever you want to call it. There's no lateral moves in your relationship.
Right.
And so you kind of just have to learn to essentially accept who you are first. Like, and that's kind of, I feel like, where I'm at right now. But it's not fun. Like, and I wish people would understand that it's going to be really, really crappy, and probably for a long time.
Right.
Until you deal with you. So
I love it. Attila, guess what you just did?
I brought Houston in the building.
Houston, Texas is in the house. If you want to bring your city in the building, you know the deal. All you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580. You got to remember, knowledge of self, the university of you. The knowledge of you is the greatest body of educational information you will ever uncover. But you don't go anywhere to do it. You just go inside, which is you. Inside is just another part of you. You can sit on that couch and go on a journey, and you will discover things about yourself that you might have been unconsciously suppressing. And whenever you suppress something, just see it as a magnet. It'll call in. Whatever you suppress will call in its mirror reflection. Listen, we got callers on the line, Miami, Florida. When we come forward, we going down to the sunny state of Florida. Let's get it. Yeah. Always let the lady go up the ladder first. So if that's... if her balance and base can catch her. Yeah. Okay, I don't. Where's she at? She, call in. Call in, she. Where are my callers? We only got one caller after Hustle. Man, where's Reverend L. Ratchet? I know Truemonger called in last night for a reading. We ain't heard from Truemonger in 3 months. Then we get somebody come on last night to do a reading. Truemonger jumped right in here. Say, I want the card on the left. That's what you did, Truemonger. Can I have the card? Oh, the card on the left, the 3 of hearts, or whatever it was. He needed that card, right? True's card jumped smooth out, too. It jumped out like, boop. It came out. Truemonger was like, I ain't gonna let these read the free readings. Free readings is like free turkeys on Thanksgiving now. He said, what? Free readings? But was she accurate, True? That's the question. Was she on point? That's what I want to know. Was she on point? Everybody hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. And don't forget, go to my Cash App. If everybody could go to my Cash App and drop a 5 spot, Cash App is $Zoe What Netter. ZOWHATNETTER. Zoe What Netter. $Zoe What Netter. Go to my Cash App. Support, support, support. Especially if you like the show. And if you're a lover and a lurker, just wave. What's up, Zoe? Say what's up. I know you're in the background. Y'all like the playlist? This is what 83 sound like. I remember 83 like a motherfucker, boy. I was watching Thunder the Barbarian. Neek is the night. So because I'm worried about being left out.
So often, when you ask a couple that's been married for a really long time what the key to a successful relationship is, they will say compromise. Compromise is often treated like the sacred cow of relationships, but it's time for this outdated concept to come to an end. It's time for people to redefine what they think a successful relationship is, and to understand that if what they want is a feel-good relationship, then compromise is to be deliberately avoided. When many of us are young, we do not feel accommodated and considered by our parents. We feel like our parents are unfair, uncooperative, rigid, and unempathetic. They make unilateral decisions. We feel like they're not genuinely considering and changing and adapting to what we believe is actually in our best interests. But the fact that our parents were this way, and that we couldn't really change it, means that in order to fit into our family unit, in order to stay safe, in order to get any of our needs met, we had to actually adapt to this. We did this by developing codependent strategies. Remember that codependent strategies are really covert narcissistic strategies. We are trained that by developing these codependent strategies, by compromising over and over again, this makes us a good person and a right person. And is the only way that we're actually going to get our needs met. So we actually experience a reward for doing these things.
Wait, pause. That was a bombshell. Can you bring that back? Codependent strategies are covert narcissistic in the name of Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce. Play that again.
And that by developing these codependent strategies, by compromising over and over again, this makes us a good person and a right person. And is the only way that we're actually going to get our needs met. So we actually experience a reward for doing these things. The problem is that this experience gives rise to two very specific things. Things that actually ruin our chances at a positive adult relationship. A deep wounding around not being considered, not being accommodated for, rigidity, and therefore not experiencing compromise. Therefore, the desire for the exact opposite. And when I say desire, I mean desperate desire. 2, the completely erroneous idea that what love is and what it takes to make a relationship actually work is compromise. Not only do they do this in relationships, they expect this in return. To compromise is to settle a dispute or conflict or reach agreement by way of mutual concession. Remember that to concede is to yield, give up or give away something you value. To compromise by definition is to accept something that is lower than is desirable. You cannot do these things without experiencing pain. By definition, this means it isn't actually a win-win scenario. People simply mistake it for one. What you are doing when you agree to a compromise is that you're essentially looking at the other person and saying, I'll take a little pain in this scenario, and you take a little pain in this scenario, or in the future.
Interesting.
It's going to be really, really difficult to maintain a long-term relationship doing this, but you may actually be able to maintain a long-term.
Especially if you come up out of that saying, you owe me. I compromised for you. I took an L for you. Ooh, you got to take one for me now. Come on, this is deep stuff. Faux negotiations. Oh, well, here we go. Here we go. We're going to Miami, Florida. Y'all know who's in Miami, Florida. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, my friend, your friend, Hustle. What up, Hustle? What are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
Hey, how you doing, older brother? We here.
I'm all right, man. I'm chilling, man. What's the deal?
So, last week you told me you wanted to work on my former self. You know, I'll show up for the challenge.
Here we go.
But I'll keep it within topic at least.
Oh, well, let's see how you do that. Talk to me about your former self who engaged in faux negotiations. You've done a lot of things in your former self that's kind of scary, but go ahead. Just continue.
Hey, but listen, out of darkness comes the light.
Absolutely.
So, I used to, well, let's just say I would accept a lot of passive-aggressive behavior because I was raised under that.
Mm-hmm.
And since I have somewhat of a silver tongue, I'll be able to work my way through it. However, as you know, lifting the burdens of others only drags down our own forward progress.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, you know, it felt like a win. You're talking about win-win.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It was more like a faux win.
Oh, interesting. Keep going. I'm listening. This is good. A faux win, not really a win. It might be incremental win, a piece of a win, or a diet win, so to speak. Go ahead. I'm listening. Keep going.
mean, you know, I like analogies. So let's say you're sailing and the wind starts blowing in the direction that you think is favorable.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is your map was reversed. You know? So you're thinking you're going the right direction, not realizing, like, hold on, man, I had the directions wrong in the first place.
Wow. Keep going. I hear you. Because you know what's interesting? Sometimes the worst thing that can happen to you in a relationship is to get what you think you want. Because sometimes having what you want really puts it in perspective. Yeah. See, because before you have it, sometimes you aggrandize what it is. You blow it up out of proportion. And then when you have it, you're like, huh. You see what I'm saying? I'm hearing you, Hustle. Keep going.
Yeah, that's like the McDonald's that tastes good because it's midnight.
It be delicious at midnight, and I be detoxing and doing all, but boy, come midnight, them two little hamburger, the cheeseburger, don't get the little one, like for the kids. The little cheeseburger, order extra pickles, boy, at midnight, I'm going right to sleep, man. Go ahead, finish.
See, but that's dangerous as a man because, you know, I've said it before, the winds are the women to me. And if my bearings aren't set straight, you get what I'm saying? It ain't their fault.
Right.
I'm the one's putting up the sails.
Right.
You see?
Right.
Well, that's what you know what I mean? That's former self.
Mm.
These days, bro, that wind even curve in the wrong direction. I'm telling you.
Right.
Them sails going down, and I'm watching. You know, when you lick your finger and stick it up, like, hold on, we going east, or what are we doing? Okay.
No, but people in the chat are really responding to the hamburger comment. I'm not eating McDonald's, okay? It was a joke. I went for the joke. Gosh.
There might be some McDonald's in the chat right now.
So, talk to us because we're interested to know, right? Hustle. Can I call you Jeffrey? Now, I know that's not your name, but Hustle just seems so...
That's my pop's name, so it's weird to get it sweet.
All right, so Jeffrey, listen. Honestly, because we hear you talk about your past life, and it sounds very vampiric, right? It sounds like, you know, it sounds really dark. So I'm asking you, can you give us some insight, right, on how you turned around? Like how you because you say, you know, nowadays I'm different. How did you look at yourself? How did you confront yourself? And was it painful? Was it difficult? Go ahead.
Well, let's start with this, right? I had a Muslim friend that I met in the office, and he used to always tell me, he's like, you are blessed with understanding. Right?
First off, don't do his accent. It doesn't capture it. But go ahead. I'm with the story, but don't do the accent. You are blessed, my friend. The power of the Black Panther is stripped. Listen, hold tight. When we come forward, I'm going back to Miami, Florida to finish talking with Hustle. Mac melatonin is crazy. Hey, Andy. Oh, we got time.
Yeah. Yeah. Here before one 83 was popping. But I want you to slide in a record coming back.
KBLA 15.
It might not be 83, but that's okay. It's by 5 Star.
I'm Amber Payton with more things you should know from BIM News. Luigi Mangione has been indicted for the fatal shooting of United Health
All right, that's the one we go back to.
on December 5th
Yep.
in New York City. The Manhattan DA, who was black, announced the indictment Tuesday. Mangione, arrested December 9th in Pennsylvania, faces 20 years to life.
Hustle, give us your tips for turning it around. Self-observation. Did hustle habit answer the question or not? Even when I think I'm following the rules get changed and I'm the blame. Ooh. Somebody moving the goalpost. That happens a lot.
And if you're an OnStar user, you can track Santa's journey in real time this Christmas Eve, adding some holiday fun for families. Get BIA News on demand 24/7 at BIAnews.com.
Every business faces challenges, but shipping shouldn't be one of them. Turn shipping to your advantage with
Dream
United States
luxury.
Postal Service. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage.
No, this is the side eye.
Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
If you're not following KPLA Talk 15 on all of our social
Hey, Hustle is the only one on the line. Y'all call in. Why are y'all not calling in? What's the problem? Call in. Neek, you should get on the phone and let's talk about all of this stuff you talking about in the chat. Congratulations, Neek. Happy birthday, 11/20. Neek is tonight. Call in with your issue. Let's get to it. I'll help you with it. Y'all help Dr. Naka with the topic.
And fetishes. Financial infidelity. I'm dating a bad person. Are they worth the wait? Trust me, this is gonna be crazy.
How about the heavy stuff? The child wasn't here, and he still had to play child support.
It's a very heated topic.
How is that
Bye.
right?
Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
I just have so many questions I want to ask you.
I would like to kiss you. This could be more than
You told me he had a vasectomy. I'm pregnant.
Betrayal has been committed. Hit you with a bad touch routine. How does he maintain his humposity?
He likes it when it pinches my nip.
Why can't you open up, brother?
I'm a karate man. Karate man on the inside. They don't show their weaknesses. Yeah.
How do you make women so well?
So Williams. And accountability. The voice of reason.
Relationship is one of the most important things in life. A relationship between me and another, me with many others, which create society. And in my relationship with another, there is always tension. There is always a sense of division, and therefore conflict, and a sense of guilt, a sense of possession, sense of responsibility, sense of protection, all that's involved in it. Not only with children, but with each other. And that apparently, from the ancient of times till now, it goes on that way. Constant conflict between you and me. Not you and me, but I mean my wife and myself or with another. Why do we go on that way? Why do we live that way? What is right or wrong in our relationships with each other? Now, I want to begin the closest and then gradually work to the world about us. Not only in England, but in India, Japan, the whole world. So I must begin here to go far. So I see as it is now, without exaggeration, without giving false values, a constant struggle, constant pain, constant tension, a division. If we accept that as being normal, then it's all right. But if one doesn't accept it as being normal, healthy, then we have to proceed to find out whether it's possible to end that kind of relationship in which there is no shadow of conflict with each other.
Krishnamurti is not playing with y'all. Can you live a conflict-free relationship? Can you have one? Can you cultivate one? But what's beautiful about Krishnamurti's work, he's saying it's impossible since time immemorial because most of us are truly afraid to see that source of conflict as ourselves. We have been conditioned to see it as the partner. And then when you're dependent on the partner and there is a fear of losing the partner, you begin to pantomime cooperation. You begin to perform cooperation. This is what he's saying. He's saying, wait a minute, can we investigate? Where does my fear come from? Right? He said, now, you can look at it in one sense and say, okay, that's normal. Okay, it's normal to live in this tension, in this conflict. Even researchers of conflict have recontextualized the name of the field. It used to be conflict resolution. It's not conflict resolution anymore. It's conflict management. Conflict is like revolving debt. It's just pay a little off. You're going to be paying for the rest of your life unless you come into a lump sum of money or you get some type of debt reduction plan. But the reality of it is psychological debt, right? And it's revolving in your spirit and it's manifesting in your relationships, right? And it's magnetic. It has a gravitational pull to it like that of a spiritual event horizon, a black hole. It is calling in, concomitant experiences. Right? Concomitant to what? Concomitant to the wound. Right? Do you understand? So guess what? I'm afraid. And because I'm afraid, I will perform to keep you. I perform to get you, so I must continue to perform to keep you. And I will invest in a facade because I've invested in a facade for my persona that Carl Jung calls the mask. So if I'm investing in a persona for me, I must invest in a persona for we that will keep us shielded from seeing ourselves as we really are. It'll keep us busy. It'll keep us distracted. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing to make you happy. Do you see? Even in the negotiations. Right? Do you see? Faux negotiations. At the heart of many relational conflict lies an unaddressed fear, often rooted in early childhood experiences. These fears shape how individuals approach negotiation. According to attachment theory developed by John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth and many others, early interactions with caregivers form the foundational root of one's relational dynamic. Securely attached individuals generally engage in healthy compromise, fostering trust and vulnerability. And they're not looking to be paid back. It's just the natural flow of things, how things go, right? I can be in a relationship with an adult who is flawed, and I don't have to be afraid that they might hurt me or even run away, even though that could be the case in some instances. Do you see? In contrast, those with insecure attachment styles may adopt faux negotiable stances as a defense mechanism, protecting themselves from perceived threats to their emotional safety. That is Schiraldi, 2016. Passive-aggressive behaviors associated with faux negotiables can manifest in various ways, such as a word salad, coherent discourse transformed into a disjointed string of words lacking clarity. This tactic often serves to confuse and frustrate partners, perpetuating a cycle of emotional dysregulation. When one partner resorts to such communication, they may inadvertently signal their inability to engage authentically, thus stalling true emotional intimacies. That's Hawkins, 2010. This is very deep stuff, man. Faux negotiables. I'm going to show up, but I ain't going to do the work. That's a faux negotiation. We got a conversation. We got to have a real situation. We got to sit down and talk about it. Okay, I'm going to show up, but I ain't going to do the work. I'm going to play at the work. This is looking busy. You remember your mama used to be like, you in class looking busy. You not doing the work. You can't be relationally looking busy now. You got to actually do the work. You can't just look busy. Come on, let's sit down and talk about it. Okay, well, let's talk about it. I have an issue with the fact that it appears as if when I'm ready to really open up and discuss how I feel, right, about this relationship, about what I perceive to be your lack of participation. Now, I could be wrong, right? Like when you need me, I will be there and I'll show up from my perspective. Now, to you, I might not show up the way you want me to show up, but I try to show up. But I need you to open up and show me how you really feel, or at least try to articulate it to the best of your ability. And even if it's incremental, just give me something that I can actually understand in the moment. And it doesn't have to be this long drawn out thing. Well, wait a minute. Hold on. Didn't I get you them flowers? Listen, we can talk about this after we go get something to eat. Now, we said we was going to eat and then come and talk about, let's eat the food first. Can we? Listen, the food getting close. You know where we at this? This food is expensive. Let's not waste it. It's getting cold. Listen, I'm tired. My feet hurt. I got work in the morning. We both have work in the morning. I got to go to work at 2 in the morning. No. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Faux negotiables. I want to know what you guys think, man. Let's get it. 1-800-920-1580. Hustle was on the line. Hustle from Miami, Florida. Talk to me, brother. You're going to give us the ways in which you were able to observe yourself and then make a change. Because like I said, you give us many examples of you back in the day. And I don't know how far back in the day that was, but you give us many examples of you back in the day, and you have seemingly made a change. I'd like to know the process by which you've overcome some of your demons.
So I'll go a bit deeper. Since I'm not driving right now, I could actually clarify my thoughts. I started with context and understanding. First, I had to learn what was going on. And then I realized I was plugging myself into those things. Separating self from the human. Human meaning form that is molded, self meaning spirit, limitless. You with me so far?
I'm rolling with you.
So now, what formed this and what formed my decisions? I was teaching my niece earlier about cause and effect. The reason I was ending up with certain people was because I was looking for certain things, making certain decisions, plugging myself into those situations. If I do not plug myself into those situations, those things will not happen. Those choices I was making were not me. They were choices. Do you understand?
Say more. Go deeper.
Okay. You could take the same person, put them in the same situation, and they make different choices, and you end up with different results. At some point, I had to be real with myself. Not just be real with myself, I had to understand what was happening so I could ask myself, how many of these things were choices based out of fear leading to this? How many things were choices based out of lack of work leading to this? How many? And just be 100 and separate myself from it so I could remove the ego and not be not feel that anxiety of looking at myself.
So you were looking
That's
at
why
yourself objectively, without judgment.
That's right.
Okay, all right. I'm rolling with you now, because we there. Let's go. We cooking. Let's go.
Once you arrive at that space, you can see things more clearly. Even the person you're with, you see more clearly, because you understand the different pieces at play to get them where they are today.
But how do you not judge something you've been through that hurt you, right? Where maybe you saw yourself as the villain, right? Or you know what I'm saying? Like, I did this to myself. Or maybe you were actually the victim in that situation, and every time you think about this thing, there's all these feelings and all these judgments and projections and woulda, coulda, shouldas and all of this stuff. Is how were you able to look at those moments and those incidents in your life and not judge them either harshly, negatively, or praise them? How did you do that?
Well, this is the deep part. Self doesn't belong to any of that.
Spirit.
The vessel is put through those things.
So spirit.
Self,
yeah.
Yes, if you want to look at yes, exactly. Just for the sake of the conversation, we'll say spirit in general.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at how you're plugged into these things, like, you don't blame yourself because you see, like, oh, no, my vessel went through this path, and that's how that happened. It's not something that was a full choice of mine.
But even that thought in and of itself, Hustle, is a high vibrational thought to even come into the space and say, spirit is separated from the vessel, right? And whatever happened must be happening for some higher purpose in terms of, my development, my self-growth, and my self-awareness, all of that. Even I want to know, how did you even get to that point? Because like I know, we fall more than more than our share. We fall, we stumble, we get up. But a lot of people fall and get up and don't learn from the fall. How did you get to a point where you're like, wait a minute, something I'm doing here that's causing me to trip over this, or I'm not tying my spiritual shoelace? Like, how did you do that?
Well, there's two parts of it. First, I'm a child of God.
Come on. Where the organs?
Let's not walk over what that is.
There we go. Here we go.
You understand? When you start there, when you have a certain level of reverence, and I don't even want to say understanding, because that's how much I understand of God,
mm-hmm.
you start to look at self a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the second part of that is my vessel just happened to have, like I said, my boy used to say, you are blessed with understanding. Certain things just make sense to me.
You're doing that.
I can read.
Don't.
Because you told me not to.
Don't. You did it again. Yeah.
You can't control my vessel, brother. So once I got to that place of seeing myself for myself, not seeing myself how others see me,
mm-hmm.
seeing myself for myself, which is, how do I see myself? Because I didn't even look
mm-hmm.
half the time. How often are we even paying attention?
But Carl Jung said everybody was scared to look at themselves. Are you proving Carl Jung wrong? Hold tight. When we come forward, I'm going to wrap it up with Dade County. Because guess what? Hustle is actually cooking on the Emerald Lagasse side of the game. Bam! I don't think. Yo, what up? What up? Are we cooking? Where are my other callers? Hustle's doing a great job. Y'all want to get in here or no? Nazarene X is posting powerful quotes. Well, how come you can't say it on the radio? Nah, hustle cooking, y'all. Everybody go to my Cash App if you can. $ Zoe, what, Netter, Twos and Fuse crew. Get in, get in. And also, can everybody just do me a favor? Do you guys have a birthday cake emojis? Put up a birthday cake. What are the birthday emojis? It's my daughter's birthday today, and I'm very proud and happy and just blown away. She's 25 years old. It's just, shit is crazy. I think people her age hear her as an adult, but you know what's weird? When I hear her talk in her voice, she sound like a kid, like 12, 9 or 12. It's really crazy. Did you get her a cake, Zoe? No, I did not. But I did give her what do we have? We had a popcorn flavored, I went and got that for her, a popcorn flavored shake. And she sent me a picture of herself drinking it. Like, she was like, this is weird, but oddly good. Like, it's good, but it's weird. When I tell you it tastes like movie popcorn, it tastes like kettle corn. They make it with vanilla ice cream, but they got some secret popcorn sauce that they put in there. Then they give you the icing on the top, and then they sprinkle popcorn on top of it. Oh man, it's fly as hell. I got myself one today. Thank you, Hustle Habit. You cooking. Thank you, brother. There we go. Thank you, guys. Love, love, love. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The likes, we got more likes than we got people. I appreciate it. Thank you. You give your love to. You give your love to. I hear your records on the radio. I see you talking on the Fat Blade Show. Wants to be my friend. How I miss you since you hit the big time. We used to be together, making plans, making plans. You left that all behind. Now I'm asking you, won't you, baby?
I might let you stand again in a minute because I realized there was something I wanted to, a short teaching I wanted to give before we actually do the compassion practice. And the intention behind giving this teaching on the 3 kinds of suffering, I already listed, many more than 3 kinds of suffering. But this is sort of like 3 traditional categories of suffering, and the intention of this teaching is to show you that it's not just what we ordinarily think of as suffering. For instance, for many people, it's very easy to think of a laboratory animal and feel compassion, or any animals being treated cruelly, and to feel compassion. And sometimes to the degree that we actually can't bear it, but still it automatically flows. And there's other things that easily awaken our heart. So those things are in a category called the suffering of suffering, or ordinary suffering. It may not seem so ordinary because there's so much cruelty involved, but the suffering of suffering, or ordinary suffering, is what we usually refer to as suffering. And when we do compassion practices, it's usually at this level, which you could say is the outer level, the suffering of neglect, the suffering of poverty, the suffering of hunger and thirst, the suffering of homelessness, the suffering of violence, the suffering of discrimination. All of these are considered a suffering of suffering, or outer suffering, level of outer suffering, or ordinary suffering. And the word ordinary doesn't mean to be...
I love Pima, but I need some vinaigrette on that word salad. I understand what she said. I need some balsamic vinegar. I love Pima now, but hey, make it clear for us now. But I did understand what she was saying. The suffering of suffering. She, being of the Buddhist practice, of course, suffering relates to dukkha. Dissatisfaction, disappointment, anger, frustration, sense of blockage, loss, right? All of this is categorized under the term dukkha in Buddhism. Now, in Buddhism, they have an opposite word for the Sanskrit term, or the Pali term dukkha. It's sukha. And sukha just means peace and love and ease and, all of these adjectives that represent, happiness and joy and, excitement and wonderment and all of that. Now, again, no life, no relationship is ever going to have all of that uninterrupted. It's the good relationships that learn how to heal and evolve those things, those moments. When I say evolve from those moments, those difficult moments, those frustrating moments where dukkha is just in our, Big Mama used to say the devil is busy. We have those days, dukkha, the devil is busy day. So to be able to flip that back, because nobody's always going to be in a state of sukha, peace, happiness. We have to be willing, in my opinion, be willing to confront difficult moments. Now, in relationships, it's very difficult to do that when you have a partner that's participating in what we've outlined tonight as faux negotiations. I want to get Hustle in here for his final thought. Hustle, your final thought, sir.
Okay, I'm going to keep it high level.
Please.
Accept before you reject. Let them show you what they are, who they are, and then take the knowledge that's available to you to discern whether or not they fit within your vision. Secure people reject people who are anxious, avoiding, whatnot, because they look at them, they accept them for who they are, and they say, this person does not fit into a healthy vision of my knowledge. They don't listen to the vessel. The vessel is going to send you signals all day, especially if you understand your vessel has been contaminated. You cannot take the signals from that. You separate self so you can look at the situation and say, I'm going to accept this situation for what it is, observe it, and decide whether or not to reject it.
Okay.
Not based on my own. You get what I'm saying?
Okay. Hustle, you cooked today, brother. You really did cook, man. Guess what you just did?
Yeah, I came for the work, man. Dade County.
Dade County in the building. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call us at 1-800-920-1580. We on fire tonight. We going to Denver when we come forward. Yo, check. Man, I forgot all of boy, 5 Star was on fire. 5 Star was a group that tried to pattern themselves after Michael and the Jacksons. And the lead singer was a girl who sounded like Mike, like her tone, like she had Mike tones or whatever, right? But they were from London, right? I think it was like 2 brothers and 3 girls, or 3 brothers and 2 girls. But yo, 5 Star had a little run. They had a couple of records that was like, huh, okay. Mimi told us to play 5 Star. So. Oh my God. Back to my vampiric tendencies. You wildin' Hustle. Let me see if anybody supported. Nobody did yesterday. Let me see. Yeah, we got 1 Cash App. Thank you, Barberry. We appreciate it. No, you know I'm about to do a dark side episode. I was thinking about doing it tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to do it tomorrow, but I got to talk about it. Is it Burberry? I thought it was, yeah, Burberry. I guess I said Barberry. The fuck is a Barberry? Let me be the one. Last I checked is dumb. I just spelled what I thought I heard. It's Barberry. I don't know. Dangerous can here come Hustle. Are you going to use Ram, 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 ram. Ram, 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 ram. My son works.
My son works. What is this?
What is this, McDowell's? I know I'm an INFJ for sure. Who are the other INFJs in the building? Leave us. You ain't no INFJ. I'm an INFJ. She said, hustle a legend. Stop it. Children, we will not argue amongst each other. ENFP, what up? This is like the psychological Hogwarts of relationship talk. Hustle like I am. I believe it though. Hustle got some deep insights. I think he has to be in order to have some of the insights that he has. See, you wrote that and I was just giving you love. Didn't know an INFJ could be a hater. We not a hater. You just got love, brother. Now take it back, hustle. Because we've seen you. Oh, there go John Gilbreth, INTJ. What's an INFJ? Intuitive, what is it? Intuitive, nurturing, feeling, judging. I need a new app or something. Y'all like the playlist? Y'all not boogieing. The playlist is probably too old for most of you guys. Look at Tisms.
You look towards somebody only when you need them. Otherwise, you ignore them. Now, that is a very abusive relationship. The difference between a devotee and a deceitful person is just this. A devotee is focused towards one thing, irrespective of what the situation is. A deceptive person only looks at it that way when he needs it.
Man, Sad Guru, sometimes he a sniper with a bow and arrow. I'm saying, whoa. Ah, man, that was a great record we played, by the way. That's from the same era of the Squabble Up original sample. Like, people don't know that, right? That's from the same era. Like, we was listening to all these records in 83. This is what the records were. So that was anyway, I digress. We got callers on the line. I want to get them in here. We're talking about faux negotiations. People manipulating the negotiation process, like pantomiming it, not really wanting to have it, participating in faux negotiations. Let me give you a little context here. Sometimes narcissistic traits often exacerbate the dynamics of faux negotiations, right? Individuals with NPD frequently exhibit a profound need to maintain control and dominance in relationship. This need can lead to one-sided compromises, where the partner with NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, manipulates the negotiation process to secure their desired outcome, leaving their partner feeling marginalized and powerless. The interplay between narcissism and passive aggression generates a toxic cycle wherein the emotional needs of the vulnerable partner remain unaddressed, right? A critical question arises here. How do unhealed traumas and the fear of abandonment contribute to the proclivity for faux negotiables, right? Many individuals seeking validation through the assertion of non-negotiables or faux negotiables, using them as shields against vulnerability. This need for validation often stems from the internal wounds that compel individuals to assert their worth through rigid stances. It further complicates the negotiation process. That's from 1956. The desire to be right frequently masks deeper insecurities as partners attempt to affirm their self-worth through perceived victories in negotiation. Remember earlier in the show, I said all of these negotiations and relationships should be win-win. They should be win-win, right? The couples should look for that as the objective of having these deep conversations. Win-win, right? Win-win. Very heavy, right? We got callers on the line. I want to get them in here and get their thoughts. We got Callie Soul from Denver, Colorado. Welcome back to the show, Callie. How are you? What are your thoughts on tonight's topic, sweetheart?
Oh, gosh, I'm doing just fine, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight's topic is brief. It's a fabulous one. And I see this whole faux negotiating thing is definitely attached to abandonment issues in some cases. Sometimes I've seen where in relationships, people don't have the courage to have those courageous, deep conversations while they're in the relationship. They have it as the exit interview.
Oh, they'll save the deep conversation. Hey, that was a bomb.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So it's like, and I'm experiencing this right now, where it's like, you know, folks want to put their foot down, and it's like, wait a minute, we're here to sharpen one another, are we not? So let me give you your adjustment. And then, you know, it's been thrown back, like, you need to mind your business, because I don't do that to you. And it's like, no. I'm not trying to throw anything up in your face or anything. I'm just saying this is what I see, and this is what your adjustment could be. But if you don't want to do your work, then yeah, you're gonna kowtow around it, and like you said, you'll talk about the Last Jedi movie or whatever, the newest Marvel film. But when it comes to getting deep about your relationship and deep about the things that you see with one another that can use some adjustment, folks don't want to go in them water.
Come on.
And shallow side of the game. Let's go to New York. You want to go to Vegas this weekend?
You know. And let me say, Callie, when we're having real conversations, like say you're in an intimate relationship, you're having real conversations, right? Yeah, okay, we're having a real conversation. If I'm really invested in it, I'm not afraid to see the flaws in my preconceived ideas about you, right? If, you know what I'm saying? And I know people say, well, you got to have a safe space for people to talk like that. I understand. Listen, unsafe wounds, wild wounds running around your spirit will not create a safe space. You understand? Because you know what happens when there are wild wounds out here? Wild wounds, right? Running rampant in your spirit. It's easy to have a safe space, potentially, when you're talking to somebody that's low stakes. I'm not invested in you, so I go to therapy. But even if that therapist triggers you, you'll ramp up. Them wild wounds will show up. Now, in an intimate relationship where you're talking to somebody who isn't trained to have this conversation with you, those wild wounds are roaming the environment. Even if you say, we're not going to cuss each other out, this is a safe space, we going to listen to one another, all of these demons will come to the surface. Am I right or wrong?
You're absolutely right. But I think that is a part of the safe space. It's like, hey, I see you, wound. Let's undress this. Let's clean it out. Let's irrigate it.
Man, if you undress your wound porn. If you undress your wound in front of most folk, they're going to use that against you.
Yeah.
They're going to weaponize the nudity of your wound if you expose it to them.
Yes, and in a partnership, I think that we also have to hold each other accountable and be okay with being held accountable when stuff like that happens, because that's just the ego. In a moment, it's like, do you want to be right, or do you want to have peace, right?
Yeah, alignment. I always say alignment over rightness. Yeah, well, go ahead, finish. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I don't have to attack you, and if I do, you know, that's up to you to be like, hey, wait a minute, Callie, that's, you know, we said that this is a safe space, and we're not going to do that.
Right.
Right? And then I say, oh, you know what, you're right. I was just a little bit out. I was in my ego right there. Let me reel it back in.
Right.
And let's get into this conversation. But we don't often have like the emotional capacity and fortitude to stop ourselves, to be able to accept that correction when our loved one, you know, puts it out there to us, and to recalibrate, change your aim, and, you know, let's move through this. Again, let's irrigate this wound and clean it out. Where's it coming from?
And that's
what
why.
Did I do to trigger you?
And let me just say this, and this is why you didn't talk to us yesterday. Because you going through something, and you knew them cards was finna lay it right out on the radio. I said, something's up. Something's up with Callie. I got to fly to Denver to see what's going on with Callie.
Yeah, I was cool on that.
Because your intuition was like, huh? Wait, hold on. No, I'm not gonna do this. Guess what though? Guess what? We love you, and you have the right to do that because this is a truly safe space. All right, you could have talked or not talked. It didn't matter. You still Callie Soul of the VOR. How about that? Guess what you just did?
Denver in the building.
Denver, Colorado is in the building. You want to bring your city in the building? All you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580. When we come forward, we're going to Jacksonville, Florida. We get in a call from Mimi. It's been so long. It's been a while. Bring her on real quick. Let me just say hi. Hi, Mimi.
Hi, Phil. Hi, everyone.
When we come forward, Mimi finna act up. She out on the balcony. You hear it all windy. She's setting up for this. When we come forward, it's going to be cold. Let's get it. Hi, so. You know, Mimi is our Marilyn Monroe. She got the Marilyn Monroe voice for sure.
But it was actually our old detergent. So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide Free is better than the leading competitor.
A month is a long time.
And it doesn't leave behind irritating residues.
Plus, Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle.
For True Monger, it's been 3 months.
It's got to be clean. It's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
I occasionally have nervous comfort in my hands, so the things I love to do. Became difficult as I got older.
If you have occasional stabbing and burning in your hands and feet, try Nervive Nerve Relief. Nervive's clinically studied dose of alpha-lipoic acid reduces occasional nerve discomfort.
I'm just fucking with you, True. You my brother, man. John Gilbert, is this a challenge? Oh, I love it. I love my brothers. Hey, John, you missed it. My daughter was in here for a minute earlier, man. Well, she was in the chat talking crazy. Thank you to everyone who shared and liked this video. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you to all who contributed to the Cash App or Super Chat. Your continued support is appreciated. Thank you. Yeah, she was in here talking crazy. Yeah. Huh? No more clips. Oh, I got a record for you. That's what I'm trying to get you now. Objects of my desire. 86. Yeah.
That's the name of the song or the artist?
That's the name of the song.
Objects of my desire.
I got Andy changing records. True Monger. I'm on vacation, big bruh. Number love. Man, my playlist is my co-host. We out here wilding tonight. Y'all thought Michael and Prince were the only people bumping in the 80s? Come on, man. I was at homecoming freshman year, like, yeah. Oh my goodness, tonight's topic has been fantastic. We got one more call on the line. I want to make sure I get her in. She's part of the family. One of the original voices on the lines. Mimi from Jacksonville, Florida. Get in here. What are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
My thoughts are, this is not exactly what I was going to say, but Callie Soul, when she said that her relationship, her partner is putting his foot down, it made me think about my last relationship, and I'll be honest, I'm going to keep it real. My former fiance ended our relationship by text. And we had just had our conversation. I thought we were in a good place. We were continuing to plan our wedding, get things together. His mother was asking me about, colors her dress should be or whatever. My mom was talking to me. So I thought everything was good. So I got the text message and I said, okay, wow. But I have healed. I'm healed. I mean, I'm over that, really, honestly. We're going into a new year. And I thought about what you said earlier, conflict-free relationships. And honestly, I think it's possible. I think that if both people are really accountable to one another, I think it's possible. I mean, I at least want to try it.
So you are saying something that's quite powerful, and I'm rocking with you. Before two people can be accountable with each other, they must first become self-accountable, right? If you leave, work undone in your spirit and you try to show up as accountable or an accountability partner to your partner, but internally you're disheveled and disarrayed, and all over the place, it's going to be very difficult for you to do that. So everything is about mutuality. You go in internally and say, hey, these are the things I need to work on. Maybe I'll go get some therapy. Maybe, I put myself in a situation to where I can confront these things through mindfulness or meditation, yoga, spirituality, whatever it is I got to do to get right with me. Then I can show up as an accountable person. or then I can show up. You understand what I'm saying? But many times people just say this stuff and try to hold their partner accountable, and it's not going to work. That's not going to work.
Yes, and I really would love to attract someone that's interested in therapy for himself, because I want therapy for myself. And I think it's good. I think it's a good idea to have couples therapy, maybe as a maintenance thing as we get stronger and stronger.
Sure.
I don't think that's a bad thing.
Sure. Especially if you don't mind somebody in your business.
Honestly,
I'm just saying that was a joke. I'm just
okay.
that was a joke. No, but definitely, I think that will be good. I think that should be the norm. I think you should normalize it for sure. Guess what you just did, Mimi? It was good hearing from you.
It was great calling in, and I want to wish everyone a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all of that. If you celebrate, one with yourself, peace, all of that. And I brought Jacksonville, Florida into the building.
You already know. We appreciate the call from Jacksonville, Florida. That was Mimi. Let me just say again, man, these topics, man, I know we make them entertaining and funny, and there's some levity and some spirituality and all kind of sprinkles of different things. But the reality of it is these conversations that we have here are something you could probably model. You can have these kind of conversations in your relationships, probably not with the commercial breaks or the music, but maybe the music, sure. But relationships need this kind of visceral, open, objective, non-judgmental conversation. It has to happen, especially on difficult aspects of the relationships. And difficulty should not be seen as a negative thing. Frustration should not be seen as a negative thing. And let me say this. Your partner should not be on this value scale in your relationship where it slides up and down. They show progress or something. You go, wow, they're getting better, and I'm drawn to them more. Or wow, they've had consistent stumbles this year, and you know what? I'm starting to lose attraction. We need to understand that attraction is very superficial, right? We need bonds, right? We need spiritual adhesives, not just, oh, they're winning, I like them. Hey, oh, they're losing, I don't like them. You know, people say this a lot. You know, that was attractive. That made me more attractive to you. You came out with a book. My goodness. Do you read books? No, I'm not going to do it. Listen, I appreciate everybody for tapping in. I'm going to be here tomorrow with another fire topic. I enjoy these topics. I enjoy the conversation. I hope you do too. Tap in tomorrow, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But let me just say this really quickly. Today's my daughter's birthday. Happy 25th birthday. In the name of sweet baby Ray's. Do you know all of my children, Andy, are Sagittarius? All of them. I have 3 children. They're all Sagittarius. My youngest, November 24th. My oldest, in the middle, December 10th. And then my daughter, the middle child, is the last birthday, December 17th. Let me just say, ladies, look out. Look out on Valentine's. I'm coming. We appreciate it. I'll let y'all. Big Sag. Never the little one. Pause. Always talking about big something. You little girl. The hell? You my little daughter. That's what it is. Knock it off. In the chat room, cutting up. Show equal good. Boy, I come with a different kind of chocolate. Hey, don't do that. All right, Andy, I'll holler, man. That boy crazy, man. You gotta walk out of the radio station like you leaving the barber shop. Yeah, man, you know what I mean? All right then, y'all. You gotta leave like that. All right, y'all. Great show tonight. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. We'll be back tomorrow with another slapper. Should I do the Star Wars show tomorrow? Should I?